Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Anonymous, and in this channel we talk about gang stalking, we talk about manipulation, we talk about the tactics, perception, everything that has to do with gang stalking, narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, and everything else that is pretty much aligned or tangent to any of those topics. The whole purpose of this channel is to pretty much help you understand what gang stalking is about, the true nature of gang stalking, and how is it possible that people have been convinced, including myself, of the actual use of direct energy weapons, microwaves, and all kinds of crazy shizzle, for the sole purpose of destroying someone. This is the only channel that has the truth. Regardless of you believing or not that I had the truth or not, I'm telling you, this is the truth. I have spent 7 years of my life being manipulated. And this video will talk about the particular manipulation methods that are used for gang stalking. So, gang stalkers pretty much realize they create scenarios and they pretty much act out the scenario. That's what they do. They act it out as if it was real, making it real for the target. So, for example, let's say that everyone is trying to convince you that you're an asshole, even when you well know that you're not. So you are going around and about, and then people just start calling you, damn, you're such an asshole, even when you do things that are not conducive to being an asshole. Any mundane task, like you stand up for yourself and someone tells you, oh my god, you're such an asshole. So now imagine that everyone around you is calling you an asshole for standing up for yourself. So in gang stalking, this is what happens. However, this manipulation can be done by a single person. It is done with a person that you look up to, a person that means everything to you, calls you an asshole when you're standing up for yourself. Like you're standing up for yourself and they tell you, God, you don't have to be such an asshole. So a person that is easily manipulated will be like, oh my god, I'm being an asshole, and then they will literally stop standing up for themselves. That's just how it is. And that's the reality of it, is that if one person, well, that's a manipulation, a single manipulation, and that will manipulate you into not standing up for yourself. Another type of manipulation is, let's say that I know, so I'm gonna tell you a story of something that I consider somewhat personal. So because of homelessness, I was sitting in my car for a long time. During COVID, I did my best to wash myself. But that led to me getting like in
2 miles, take exit 4 onto Euclid Avenue.
On my ass. And well, gang stalkers, they saw it. And I ended up getting rid of it, but it left a scar. So gang stalkers, knowing that was a pretty much, how do you call it? That I was sensitive, like something that I was self-conscious about. Who wouldn't be, right? So what gang stalkers would do, they would, like, even though there was nothing there, gang stalkers would literally just, like, let's say that it's someone that I'm hooking up with, they would, like, literally just, like, touch it or squeeze it. I'm not kidding you, like the scar. you know, bringing up the memory, you know, of bringing up the self-consciousness. of having that mark on my ass. Now you cannot even see it, because now my ass is all muscular. But by doing that, gang stalkers bring up that memory. You know, I honestly don't think that gang stalkers know the actual psychological mechanics behind it. But well, maybe I am underestimating their knowledge.
Take the exit, then turn left onto
but
Euclid
if they
Avenue.
are experts at manipulating, I'm sure that they probably do know what they're doing.
At the light, use the left
by-
2 lanes to turn onto Euclid Avenue.
That by making me aware of the scar that was left there, I would immediately grow subconscious about it. You know, that it would bring an ugly memory of that happening. And
Turn
that's
left.
exactly what that does. Even when I am really not subconscious about it anymore, I feel, you know, some anger trying to come up. I have been using all these experiences, even when I feel the anger, like I feel the anger, but it doesn't make me angry, because I am using all these experiences to document them, to tell you guys about what actually happens when they do these types of maneuvers, so you understand what's happening in your mind. When you see it from a perspective that you're trying to understand, any personal attack doesn't really affect you, because you know that it is not, you're not engaging with that person to rock your socks off. You're engaging it because you know they're manipulators, and well, in my case, I am trying to get more information about the actual manipulation tactics that are being used. Because of all those experiences, I'm able to make this video and tell you exactly what happens. Now, another type of manipulation that they do is that where they hover their hands around something valuable that you own, and they make a gang stalker grin. Like they pretend they're gonna steal something, but they don't. Now imagine that people, acquaintances, are all doing this, where you have valuables, you know, and they don't steal them, but they pretend, they act like if they were thieves, like if they were gonna steal them from you. And that has the effect of making you paranoid, making you question everyone's honesty. It makes you question everyone's integrity, therefore making you a person that doesn't trust anyone, making you paranoid. And other thing that I have personally seen and experienced is where gang stalkers pretend to be holding something. Even though this happened in the very beginning of my gang stalking, where they would hang on to something and they would like place it somewhere else. And whenever you would be looking at that, they would like move their hand really fast. And even when there was nothing there, they would like hide it somewhere else. You know, and they would do this where they would simply just have the item, and then they would like grab it and then put it somewhere else. And then if you go look for it, they would like, you know, pretend to throw it somewhere, and then they would like leave. And then you would go and look, but there would be nothing. And I smile when I think of this, because that was trippy, man. That was so trippy. It makes you, it just so trippy, because they look like they're hiding shit from you, you know. And again, you're already paranoid. You're already using drugs, and everyone is doing all these sketchy things to you. So it is a really trippy experience. And that, to me, when that was happening, that was like the coolest thing, because it was just trippy, you know. One thing that someone did was like try to like they would look at something of value, right, that you own, and then they would like almost like launch themselves to steal it, even though they weren't gonna steal anything, but they would like pretend. So they do that, you know. And when everyone you know is starting to pull these off, you start to mistrust everyone. And that is its purpose, to make you distrustful, to make you, express outwardly, people are trying to steal my shit. That's when they know, they know that they have you already in it. That is building that's tying the gang stalker grin with the manipulation, with the impact, with the belief that everyone is trying to steal something from you. And I'm here to tell you that methodology works. It is incredibly effective. It is incredibly trippy. And it really does make you doubt everyone's integrity and honesty. So the effect of this on you is that you are like, let's say that you are simply hanging out with your friends, right? And they do a movement that resembles getting too close to something that you own. And you're gonna start being suspicious of people who have the best intentions for you. And this creates confusion. But one thing that I can tell you is that the signs that gang stalkers do, it is almost like a very gradual manipulation of your mind. It's incredibly gradual, and they lower it in such a way that is so subversive and hardly perceptible that there's going to be a point in time where anything that is normal behavior, you are going to misinterpret it as not being normal. You're going to misinterpret it as being part of gang stalking. Now, I'm telling you this because I have seen it. I have experienced it. For example, when I was being sensitized to the keys, to the gang stalker grin, to the slamming of at work, there's a thing that whenever a customer walks in, most of them accidentally hit it. It's bad store design. And there's a very particular sound. So now most people are going to hit it accidentally. But I have seen gang stalkers hit it purposely. So whenever a customer walks in the door, there's times where I'm going to hear that particular sound. When a customer walks in, they're gonna do the keys, right? And I'm gonna hear the keys clinging or making their dangling sounds. Also, the shopping cart, for example, where the shopping cart, to me, they noticed that it made me, when I cared about what people thought, when I was actually trying to hide my homelessness, shopping carts were a symbol of something, like it would remind me. I would think, oh, they put them there on purpose. But there were instances where I felt like they put them there on purpose. Like there were times where there was no shopping cart, and then I would go back to my car after treating a client, and then a shopping cart would be right there, like right in front of my car, like a mocking. So then that had the effect of me feeling that the cart was purposely put there for me. So as I went about my life, right, you go around and you start interpreting all these sounds as part of the manipulation, where they don't even have to actively put a shopping cart anywhere. They don't have to actively dangle their keys to make the sound. They don't have to actively do the gang stalker grin. You are going to start interpreting by your own volition those sounds, those things that you were sensitized to as being actively done by gang stalkers. I'm telling you this because I saw it happen. So I was at work, right? And in the beginning, my boss would put me to do, not on sales, even though I'm a salesperson at work, but they would put me to do planograms, which is the most mind-numbing and mind-tiring task anyone can possibly do. And they would put me to do the hard ones, the ones that had hundreds of parts that I had to put the labels, accommodate the parts, take them off the shelf, clean everything, and put them on, and relabel, and readjust the parts, put the new merchandise on the shelf. Like easily like 4-hour planograms, 3-hour planograms. So then the effect that this would have is that it would get my mind tired, and it would get my mind, my mind would get tired, but it would have the freedom to think about gang stalking, about what was happening. So by the end of that planogram, I was usually connected. My mind was tired, and I was thinking about just gang stalking. I would be thinking about gang stalking. So then I would actively disconnect, and I would see them purposely just do the gang stalking grin, and then do the gang stalking sign when I would be disconnected. They would jingle the keys, and whenever I would disconnect, they would use the words like bottle or black or whatever words that they thought that they were trying to sensitize me to. And for some reason, these words, these sounds caused me discomfort. And I never understood why, but they actually caused me discomfort. The sensitization to these things was actually really effective. And they would do the gang stalking sign, whenever I already covered what the gang stalking sign was. But the gang stalking sign is pretty much a fast movement of anything or any body part exactly at the point where you look at it. So they would do the gang stalking sign, right? And it would pull you like, oh, that's a gang stalking sign. It would just kind of like hypnotize you back into it, right? So then as you're hypnotized into doing this thing, right? How do I explain this to you? As you're hypnotized to do this, sorry, there is like someone standing on my window. There we go, he's leaving. So anyways, I'm so sorry about that. That was weird. Anyways, so these actions would pull you back into the trance. And then the one factor that told me that gang stalkers were, how do you say, they had successfully connected me was, I didn't even notice it most of the time, but I noticed that why are they not trying to connect me anymore? They would stop doing the gang stalking sign. They would stop doing the cough. They would stop saying starter or whore or core, something that would sound like whore. They would stop doing the things that would be conducive into me being connected. And that's when I would realize, oh shit, that means I'm connected. So when you're connected, you start accepting the voices in your head as if they were actual people talking. So when you're hearing voices, you start imagining what the gang stalkers would say. So for example, if I would see someone, if I would know that someone is in the store, right? The voices would literally sound like that person. And it would say things that person didn't say. So I know that's incredibly hard to understand. But when you're connected, there are voices in your head when you start imagining what the gang stalkers are going to be would say according to something that you do, right? So like for example, if gang stalkers have, when I am on my phone, right, and they want to keep me connected, and if they have said, oh shut up, or shut up, they would do sounds that would make it appear like I am, like they're telling me to shut up, right? They would be indirectly telling me to shut up because they want me to stay connected. So what would happen would be that even whenever I would, by my own volition, say or think a song, something that gang stalkers have themselves told me that they don't want me to do via indirect coercion, such as being shut up, and they wouldn't directly say it, but they would imply it, right? So then whenever I would imagine or think of a song, the voice would be recreated in my head in the voice of the person that I knew was in the room. Telling me to shut up. That's what being connected is. That's why you feel that everyone is watching you, that they know what you're doing, because everything that you do, they have created a response, and then, when you're connected, your brain creates the response. And the world is running like it should. There's no one watching you. There is nothing. But it is because they have conditioned your mind to create these hallucinations of you being watched. That's why people believe that gang stalkers know everything that you do, because you hear the evidence that you're getting watched. They are reacting to your thoughts. You don't see them react, you hear them react. But they do it in such a way that when you're not watching, they do it discreetly, so that you never actually see them do anything. And that's because at the end, you really don't see them do anything, because they whisper things. So understanding that the auditory hallucinations that you easily that when you're gang stalked and you do not know the auditory hallucinations, it is extremely hard to understand or to conceive the idea that what you're hearing is not people whispering anymore, that it's not people talking anymore, that it is the auditory hallucinations, that it's actually happening. It was incredibly difficult. It was literally the hardest thing during gang stalking to figure out that I was having auditory hallucinations and it wasn't people talking. So even when you're getting gang stalked, you will have auditory hallucinations. And if you feel that everything that you do, everyone knows, if you have a voice in your head reacting to what you do, that's a hallucination. And it feels like someone is outside of you connected to it and seeing you. When you hear someone outside of you responding having a reaction to a thought that you have, and you hear that person outside, that is an auditory hallucination. But it is impossible to differentiate that you're having an auditory hallucination, because it sounds like someone that you know, there's a voice, a familiar voice of someone that is outside of you. And it simply is impossible to differentiate. People who are getting gang stalked are not aware that there are auditory hallucinations. They don't know that, because I have had experiences where I'm doing things at work and I look at labels and I smile and I hear a voice saying, "Oh, he's smiling," and then I look behind me, and for a second I see that person just like looks at me and walks away, And my mind tells me that he was the one talking. But then he wasn't even looking at me. He was looking at a part that he was holding on his hand. But I wanted to believe that the voice that was that the person that was talking behind me was him, because he was the only person behind me. But in reality, all that voices was just me imagining what gang stalkers would actually say about me. And my mind was trying to make logic of it. When that happened, when that incident happened, when I was like, well, he said that. But then he wasn't looking at me. He was looking at a part. I was like, okay, that means that is an auditory hallucination. Boom. And then I was able to get up from it. So one thing is that if you're getting gang stalked and you know that they know your thoughts and all this stuff, so don't react. And don't look around to see how people react to your thoughts. But that means if people are reacting to what you do and it feels like everyone is aware of what you're doing, you're probably having auditory hallucinations. And you don't know it until the moment that you realize that they are auditory hallucinations. Boom, you disconnect. That's exactly what happened, because there was an incongruency. There was a glitch in the matrix. So, and by glitch, I mean that someone who is going to be looking at me, right? Or who was just talking about me, and I turn around, his feet are going to be pointed towards me. And he's going to be looking at me. But this guy was turned the other way around, literally opposing where I was looking at. Like, we were literally back to back. So, but in like 3 meters apart. And he wasn't looking at me. He was reading the fucking back of a package. So that was where the glitch happened. If you're getting gang stalked, you have to look for the glitches, because the glitches are going to tell you what's really happening. That was the glitch. The glitches are what tell you what's happening. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And please share, like, and don't forget that the purpose of this channel is to help you guys and everyone else in the world to understand what gang stalking truly is. To understand truly what gang stalking really is, how it affects people, and to help them if they're currently watching these videos. If you're getting gang stalked and you're watching these videos, if you understand what's happening, this channel has the power to disconnect you permanently. It has. And if you get connected, just come back as when your day is over, just watch my videos throughout your day, and then you're gonna understand that everything that you're living, it is only a manipulation of your mind. All right, thank you so much for watching. Bye.